In this video, I'll share tips on how to save time and money on your boat's hardwood frames. Tip number 5, purchase random width, rough cut lumber. When I first contacted the lumberyard, I asked for 2-foot wide boards. And then I learned that the edge gluing process was actually more expensive than the wood itself. After studying the plans, I learned that each part could fit on a board between 5 and 10 inches wide, and I ended up reducing my lumber price from over $4,000 to about $1,700. Number 4, minimize the thickness of the purchased lumber. To get 7/8 inch thick finished lumber, I was originally advised to buy 1.5 inch thick rough cut lumber. But when I explained that I was making structural frames rather than a fine finished surface, the lumberyard suggested I buy 1 inch thick lumber, taking 1/16 inch off each side. If you have your own sander, you can actually cut out the rough cut parts and then sand each finished part. Number 3, use the widest board as a shaper plate. As I showed in Temptress video 7, I placed shaper tape on a board that I wasn't going to cut. This allowed me to cut multiple boards without replacing the shaper tape and having to rescan the surface. Number 2, optimize part placement on each board. With Shaper Origin, you can place new designs next to previous cuts to maximize board usage. With careful placement, I was able to cut all of the Sapele components for the Temptress from 120 board feet of the rough cut lumber. And the number 1 time-saving tip, label the parts with a pencil. This simple change eliminated my need to keep changing between engraving and routing bits and redoing the Z-touch. While the engraved parts looked great, this process was simply too time-consuming. These are my top 5 tips as a first-time boat builder. For advice from a professional, check out Dan Lee's Temptress quarter-scale boat build videos.